right. And we are back with another episode of the One-on-One podcast. My name is Joshua Katz. I am in the studio here in Laguna Niguel, California. And finally, for the first time in months, I am joined in person by our producer, Ryan Esteban. Ryan, welcome back.
What's up? Oh, we got producer Kat. Woo!
Yay.
And as always, Kathy Baker. Kathy, welcome.
Hey, you know what I just realized?
What's
if
that?
we were brother and sister, my name would be Kathy Katz.
It would. Yes, it would. Well, I don't want to, normally we do some like catch ups and see how everyone's doing, but I want to loop our guest into that because not only is he one of mine and Ryan's colleagues and coworkers, but he's also one of our very good friends. And we've had him on the podcast a number of times. And you guys love his episodes because he's not only super charming, but he's full of a lot of knowledge. So without further ado, let's welcome our Senior Digital Director and growth marketing? Yes? Yeah. Sevag Sarkissian.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Handsome.
Back again.
And handsome.
I'm only here because Ryan's back.
That's right. Yeah, that's actually how I got Ryan back in the office, Kathy, is I told him Sevag was coming.
Yeah, and I was like,
that would do it.
I'm a drive here for this.
It's good to be liked.
So Sevag, what do you want to chat about today?
It's freaking hot.
It is. I know you are here for a specific reason to, let's just call a spade a spade. Yeah. To congratulate those that have been putting in the effort digitally for the last 3 quarters and to call out those that have been not, but tell them that there's still time, correct?
There is still time. Not a lot of time left.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been prepping yourself throughout the past 8-9 months, I'm gonna grab your head and shake it and ask what the hell you've been doing. And you've been listening to the podcast. You've been listening to the advice. What have you done with that advice? Mm-hmm. Where have you set the bar? Where have you put your goals? And if you've listened, you've taken the advice, you've taken notes, and you haven't done any of it, just turn it off. Like, don't bother listen to the rest of this because you're not serious about your growth.
Okay, agreed. But for those that are maybe a little bit serious and want to learn more,
sending you a hug.
Let's start with them.
Yep.
So where do you want to begin?
So we've obviously been through a lot this year, but one thing that is consistent is everything is digital. Mm-hmm. Everything lives online. So if you don't have your presence online, and we're rewinding back to the beginning, it's equivalent to having your doors closed, your business door closed. Imagine going in and you sell Slurpees at 7-Eleven and 7-Eleven, your doors are closed.
Right.
And that's what you're doing to yourself right now. If you don't have, again, let's review. Don't have your website. Don't have your social media properties set up and updated. You don't have a CRM. You're not using the tools that are provided to you and the technology by Realty ONE Group.
Yeah.
And in our tool chest. You're not going to be progressing in your growth in your business as much as you think you are. So time for some an awareness check here, and using everything that's provided to you to your advantage. Mm-hmm. There's a method on each part of what you can do with each channel, with each medium, and having a plan. And right now, as we're entering in the core of the third quarter, into a period of time where things really need to go for that final push, to set you up for a great end of the year and get you set up for the next year.
Kathy, I know we were chatting about this off camera, and you were kind of talking about the calendar year is a little bit different for a real estate professional. And do you want to maybe go into that a little deeper and maybe discuss, the clock's ticking a little bit quicker for professionals right now?
It does. And it's the calendar year is just very different.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about a 12-month income, most people think about income beginning January 1 and ending December 31st. And the thing about the realtor year is if you don't have it under contract by that first to second week in November, it's not going to be contributed to the current year's income. So you've really only got about 10 and a half months to make that income. So that fourth quarter push is more important in real estate. And I guess in all sales that have a 30 to 45 to 60 day close time from contract to close. You better hustle that fourth quarter. And I get frustrated. And as a coach, I've always been frustrated that people tend to just kind of take off that Q4. It's like, well, nobody's going to buy a house and nobody wants to list their house. And that's total BS because buyers buy 12 months a year and sellers need to sell. So you're still going to have, the D's, the divorce, the death, all the challenges and changes in the industry. So guys, we need to keep working. You need to get digital, you need to get decisive, and you need to do what you need to do to work that Q4.
And I think, Sevag, there was a reason why you wanted to do this podcast now at this time of year, right? And I know you want to, like I said at the beginning, go over the things that we've talked about on previous episodes. And also it's kind of like a welfare check almost. Like, where are you at with your business? How can you improve? You have a couple months to do it in this calendar year, but then also the habits and things that you build now are going to help you come 2024.
Yeah. And it's not just real estate specific. When things get quiet, you can be in any other industry when it's, they call it, some people use the terminology, the shoulder season.
Mm-hmm.
It just because it's quiet in your lap and on your desk doesn't mean there are people out there doing the research, looking what's going ahead of them. There's a lot of people out there that say, okay, 3, 4, 5 months from now, I'm going to be looking for a new home. I'm going to be looking to move. I may need to relocate for my job.
Right.
I need to start researching neighborhoods, cities, communities. If I move into a different city and state, I need to learn as much as I can to be educated about where I'm going to move to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it comes down to having the right content about and being the expert in your local market. Because you sort of have to be the mayor of act like the mayor of your town to promote the communities so you can have that expertise exhibited to somebody that's doing the research during the quote unquote quiet time that people think that nobody's doing anything and that people are active. And you as a content producer and strategist, that when there's a demand for a certain type of content and there's nothing out there, you need to produce it.
Right.
You need to strategize. And what kind of form of content is it going to be? Video, written, social, all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's going to start there. So let's talk about your website, which is basically your hub,
yeah,
your central location. Having resources there, and nowadays people don't want to spend time reading, and I know a lot of people don't like writing.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to do videos. But guess what? Producing videos or YouTubes about your community, about yourself, about your business, and your success stories takes a little bit of planning.
Yeah. Ryan, you want to elaborate on that?
It definitely takes a lot of planning for it. And I know we talked about in past episodes where it's how important video is, especially in this day and age. It doesn't necessarily have to be so well thought out or so planned. The idea is you're getting that content out there, no matter what. Everybody has a smartphone nowadays. It's easy enough to get that content out there as long as you know who your audience is and kind of the message that you're trying to get across. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what Ryan does really great with our videos for our brand is I'm using wrong terminology here probably, but storyboards it and visualizes it in a way where in a short amount of time, the core of the information can be consumed. So if you watch a lot of our videos out there, you'll see that everything is aligned, streamlined, and flowing in a way that it can be easily absorbed and retained.
100%. I think Ryan brought up a good point though, where it's a matter of knowing your audience, right? We've all worked for this company for a number of years. So we've figured out over the years who our audience is and how we create successful content for them. And so if you are an agent in a particular market, it's a matter of you doing your due diligence to know, okay, what content works for this particular market.
Yeah. Everybody well, not everybody, most of the people love to browse on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
When you go on Google and you search for something and you've been searching on regular Google, it's going to start giving you suggestions for videos. And what comes up? If you're researching to move for a job a couple of months from now, and you move into a city and state and you've been searching for that, there's going to be a video about moving there. Well, if I'm out there doing the research and looking for content and looking to learn about where I'm about to move to, and an expert in that local market has a video, I'm going to probably be in contact with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that person's going to get my business.
Okay. I think we could, I feel like I say this to you every time you're on, because we try to break our episodes into mini sections. Within those sections can be episodes in and of themselves. So like, I'm going to like stop us and move on to the next one, just because I want to get all this content in one episode. But I really want to focus on social media, because you and I beat this conversation to death every single day on Slack, that it's the most lucrative marketing tool and it's free. And if it's used correctly, it can do wonders for your business. And we see time and time again it not being used correctly.
And people don't like generic content that they can find anywhere. People don't like reposted content because they probably already have seen it. They want something that's authentic, that's true to the person, that exhibits their expertise, who they are, their personality, in the right tonality. Don't fake it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be somebody who you're not. And give a resource. Don't just post something on social for the sake of posting it, and then think that you're going to get an audience from it or engagement. You're going to have to earn it.
Yeah. Kathy, it reminded me of two things actually. When we had Jackie Tate on and she was talking about the UGC videos that she does with her husband, where it's pretty much part of their lives now, where they try to record just video content wherever they are, which I think is amazing. The other one is the Whitakers, who we had on a couple weeks ago, and they have their own podcast and they create their own content. And obviously those two are such lovely people, but you get such a true sense of who those two are from their content. And I think those are just really, really good examples of how to properly utilize not only video content, but then also utilize social media.
Absolutely. People want authenticity. They don't want, the realtor in the St. John suit that is not the real person.
Yeah.
They want the real deal.
Do you want to talk about your favorite thing in the world?
Soccer?
Well, I was about to say, just could have taken a left turn. About to go into sports again.
I was going to say paid digital advertising, but soccer was second. Yeah.
I thought we were going to turn to the LA Galaxy for a minute.
So all right, talk about it. I know we use it.
Right.
Talk about, maybe that's a good way to start. How has it helped us on our marketing and branding team?
That's a great angle. Yeah.
It's amplified our brand versus, I don't want to let all our secrets in public and our strategies, but it's amplified and created brand awareness where we need it in the markets that we need it and that we're growing. When we're starting to expand into different markets and cities and states and countries, we want to make sure that the Realty ONE Group brand starts to be known, and we're cutting into the share of voice in those markets. So we have tactics to go into that. Now, when you go down more into the local granular level, it's more of an inside out approach.
Yeah.
Starting local and building that, hey, there's, Realty ONE Group in this market. And then that affiliate, that office is responsible for promoting their office and their brand in the local market. So how do they do that? There's a few easy surface level tactics to do it. One is through paid search. And that is some keywords that if somebody's searching for it, your advertisement will appear at the top of the search results. There's other tactics that go into display advertising and then social media advertising. What I would recommend is if you are with Realty ONE Group, jump into the One Marketplace. There are partners in there that can help you with this and that can accelerate it and get you started a lot quicker than when you're trying to figure it on your own, because you on your own need to grow your business. You need to focus on your business and that growth and establishing what that is in your plans. So with paid, it amplifies and accelerates someone knowing you exist.
I realize this is such a bird's eye view general question, but for someone maybe that is a newer agent and doesn't maybe have the money to invest a lot in their business right now, how can paid advertising be effective on a budget?
There's different strategies you can do with it, and it could be really subjectively inexpensive. If you get a listing and you want to market that listing, there are some inexpensive ways to do that. There are partners in the One Marketplace that can help you, and by amplifying that listing with paid advertising, you're also amplifying your brand, because they're going to see who is this listing from, who is this company, who owns this listing, who's going to show it. They know they're going to see your name. Got it.
I was going to go down a rabbit hole, but I don't want to do that.
Well,
I like rabbit holes. They get interesting.
Seriously, do it, because we're literally, I'm going like subject by subject, trying to get Sevag's bullet points without us going over the episode limit.
Okay. What I want to say is, I want everybody, if you're not challenged to do this for any other reason, I want you to begin with the end in mind. And if this is day one of your real estate career, wake up and listen for just one moment. You need to build a business that's marketable. You need to build a business that you can sell later, because at some point, either you're going to relocate or you're going to retire. And the opportunity right now, and we're at One.U, we're putting together One Legacy. And One Legacy is a program that's going to teach a professional realtor how to package their book of business and how to sell it. And there's not going to be any better time or any better audience for the boomer or the person getting ready to exit real estate than to the Y and the Z, because they're entrepreneurial, they have money, and they're wanting to buy a business because they don't have the patience to build it. This is the way to do it, guys. You've got to have it in a marketable format. You've got to have the impressions. You've got to have the following. You maximize and multiply. The multiplier on your business increases with having a marketable business. Does that make sense? Can you speak to that a little bit, Sevag? Of when you have followers, when you have a CRM, when you have a true book of business and not some happy list on the back of a cocktail napkin, you have a marketable entity.
I think
you're selling the relationship, but all of this builds the relationship. Video creates a relationship with people you don't even know, because they see you and recognize you and they follow you and they love you even though they don't know you. So speak to that, if you will.
I think relationship is a key word. And if that was a mic drop by Kathy, if I ever heard one, because that was on point. All of that hones in on building a relationship using a CRM. You don't use a notebook that you lose at the bar at happy hour and then walk away and then say, "Oh shit, I lost my contacts, I lost my leads, I lost all my sales notes." If you're not using the technology provided to you, or any technology like a CRM, that's where you have all your customers and your relationships logged and journaled over time and time. And like as Kathy said, you can pass that on.
Right.
That is gold, Jerry. That is like pure gold.
Sick reference.
Where you can sell it, you can pass it on. It's information that nobody else potentially has.
Right.
And then you could look at that CRM and say, you can segment them in different types of situations, whether it's buying timeline, if they're in different markets, if you feel that they have a house that has a lot of equity, you want to approach them and they're in a hot area, you can pull that list easily with a couple of clicks and then reach out to them and grow your business.
Right.
And I think that's where you have to start setting your responsibility bar too, is maintaining that. Because if you're in sales, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're servicing clients, you're not using that CRM daily, stop what you're doing and go punch a clock somewhere else. You're not going to survive.
Amen.
Kathy, I think we probably need, on a total side note, probably need to bring Mark back on to do an episode dedicated to One Legacy. I think that'd be really cool to kind of discuss it in more detail.
Right.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, it doesn't sound like a lot of other brands in our industry are doing something like this.
They're not, because we've got a lane, because of ours being transaction based and not a split. We've got a lane that other companies don't have.
Yeah. Sevag, the last, and I know we can, talk digital till the seasons change, but I really want to discuss, especially because you and I do this together, email marketing.
Yeah. Email marketing, it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think, I'm glad
you started
email
there.
And spam. No, cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Because what it is a way to communicate one-on-one and touch point on a relationship and expand that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one channel that you use to let people know that you still exist.
Mm-hmm.
You can provide them with some resources. It doesn't have to be about real estate, buying, transactional. It could be something interesting about the community.
Yeah.
And using that, and whether it's email marketing, whether it's social, paid, you need to have some self accountability and responsibility. What are your goals? Where is your bar?
Mm-hmm.
And don't set your bar low enough where you could do the absolute minimum and think that you could grow your business and have a sustainable income stream. Because again,
It's not going to happen.
No, go punch a clock somewhere else.
Right.
Because you're going to get punched in the face with some reality that, hey, I'm fucked. I'm not going to be able to. You can bleep that out.
Whoa. No, just kidding.
Please keep it in.
You're not going to be able to sustain that. And then if you're in a relationship and your significant other is going to look at, it's tax season, they're going to look at what you did last year, say hello to the couch.
Yeah.
Maybe if not, pitching a tent in the back because you're done. And those are the people I don't want to talk to.
Right.
Again, we said in the beginning of the podcast, if you haven't done any of the stuff that we've talked about before, and one of the episodes we gave the listeners homework.
We looked at the date of it, Kathy, and the first episode with Sevag in 2023 was on February 8th. So Sevag has supplied this information for almost the entire year.
And yeah, if you haven't listened, if you had done anything, even the other episodes that have been involved where it gives you some one-on-one and some knowledge-based one-on-one information on what things are, not digital, even, talking about luxury, talking about partnerships and branding. Like said in the beginning, just turn it off. Don't listen anymore because you are not a serious person. And if you're serious about growing your business, you'd be serious about being digital, doing these growth tactics and building relationships and growing them digitally.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Don't be a hobbyist.
Yeah.
No room for hobbyists.
Yep.
So you used a word, and I want to go back to it if I can.
Wait, which word was it?
Yeah, I gotta go.
There was one. There was one that I hope we don't cut out because it rang true. Sometimes that word just works.
It's staying.
Okay. You talked about channels. So let's, for those that are remedial learners, we're going to give them a hall pass that, are trying to catch up. Just list the channels. Like one channel would be email marketing. One would be direct mail. And I don't mean prioritize them, but if somebody's only going to do one thing, let's talk about what are the channels, and then what are you seeing? What are you guys seeing the greatest success with?
Social.
What one channel? If
Social.
you're going to just eat the elephant a bite at a time, which bite goes first?
You can talk about social. The thing is, you need to be consistent, effective, and you need to keep going on social. Just because you post something you may not see it because social media companies have to build a revenue stream. So they're going to show social content that has higher engagement, that are more, they have a whole algorithm and stats on it. But we talk about channels, we talk about relationships, and what channel works best for that relationship segment. So if it's email. I'm a huge proponent of direct mail. And they're like, why? You're a digital guy. No, because it all comes into a mix of touch points.
Yeah.
Offline and online. It all works together because that piece of mail that they're getting, they're going to see your website address and be like, oh, let me check them out. Or you put a QR code on that postcard or the flyer. They're going to look at it. Oh, let me see what's on that. Let me scan that QR code. It's going to go to your website. Mm-hmm. Guess what's on your website? Resources, content, your phone number, your email address.
Yep.
Your other social media links.
Sevag, you might think I'm crazy, but I don't even know if I've told you this analogy before, but when I build our company's emails, for example, and I'm working on content and I'm thinking of subject lines and preview text and in my brain, I'm kind of like, all right, this is a billboard. They're driving by at 75 miles an hour and they're going to see it for like 2 seconds. They're probably not going to digest. They're probably not going to digest all the information, but they're going to get enough that they need that they want to learn a little bit more about whatever it is. And that's, and my job's done. I successfully completed my job.
And we talk
teaser.
It's a teaser.
And we talk about all the time how to continuously improve that, because other people are competing for space in the inbox and your attention to click on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times I wake up in the morning and I just multiple click, select, and delete.
Oh yeah, same. I mean, 100. I mean, you and I'm sure people are probably annoyed by the emails that they get from Realty ONE Group, because Sevag and I have gotten very emoji friendly. Because think about it, Kathy, if you're in your inbox and you're scrolling down and you're looking at all your emails, and then you see a little monkey next to text, your eyes are going to stop, right? And so it's just little tricks like that you obviously don't exhaust, but that will cause people to stop and look.
It's also being modern.
Yeah. That's another good point is keeping up with digital trends, because they're constantly changing.
So go out, be digital, grow. Yeah. And there's an Armenian saying, I'll translate to English. It probably won't make sense.
We're ending the episode on this, so this better be good.
My mouth has gone dry by saying the same things over and over again. Just freaking do it.
All right. I don't want to say anything more. Kathy.
Thing.
All right, go.
Do one thing. Just do one thing.
Sevag, thank you as always. Your passion and also just expertise on this is unmatched, and we love having you on. And let's do one before the holidays, just for shits and gigs.
There has to be cocktails, and Ryan needs to be in front of the camera.
I got you.
Kathy, can we do that? We'll bring Sevag back on the holiday time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, everyone, thank you. I think this was a great episode. Also, keep in note, guys, that Sevag has also written a blog that will coincide with this episode that will release sometime in the near future.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
We thank you for joining us today on another episode of One on One, a Realty ONE Group podcast. We are powered by One.U and ask if you have suggestions, recommendations, or questions, please email learning@realtyonegroup.com. And remember, pay close attention to the details, listen to understand, not respond, and always be a resource, not a sales pitch.